They say addiction is detrimental, but I say not if you're a sleepyhead. You are watching the Sleepyhead Fandom Hangout, a place where fans can theorize, debate, and gush about all things Sleepy Hollow. Be sure to tune in for exclusive interviews, episode reviews, and the latest news in the world of Sleepy Hollow.
We're not in Kansas anymore, are we?
Lieutenant! He's released his astral form on a journey to find Abbie.
His what now?
We shall make those mortals pay for what they've done.
Hate is gonna hate.
Okay, welcome to Hollow Hangout, everyone. Today is February 5th, 2016. We just watched One Life, and oh my gosh, we've got quite a big panel tonight. First, I'll introduce you guys. I've got my first lieutenant, Deb. Hi, Deb.
With a beer.
With a beer.
I needed a beer.
Where's your Nails Mocha madness? I've got
That takes too much effort.
Okay.
Okay.
Mocha madness. And I've got Linda. Hi, Linda. How are you?
Hey, glad to be here.
And Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Welcome to our crazy world. She just disappeared. And we've got Darla. Hi, Darla.
Hello.
And Alicia. Hi, Alicia.
Hi.
We've got a few new faces. We've got Sarah. She's Oh Juliet on Twitter. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
We've got
Hi, Sarah.
Tina Allen. Hi, Tina. How are you?
Hi, guys. Good to be here.
And we've got Jean Flores. Hi, Jean. Welcome to our wacky world of Hollow Hangout.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so we got a lot to cover tonight. First of all, well, tonight, obviously, yeah, we watched One Life. We've got the, in the background, I think it's Darla, Alicia, you guys are watching TV1, right, for the NAACP Image Awards, because Nikki Bahari is up for an award. Fingers crossed. She needs it, for sure. She deserves it, I should say. And tonight we had our official Sleepy Signature Spirit cocktail, which was voted by Sleepyheads, was Mills Mocha Madness. So the recipe is out on sleepyhollowaddicts.com if you want to like make it. It's really yummy. I've been drinking mine. Honorable mention, actually Headless's Revenge and Jin Can Juice came in second and third for that. Tomorrow, I just want to mention also real quick, tomorrow is the Atlanta TV Festival. Sleepy Hollow is screening Incident at Stone Manor, so lucky people are going to see how they get Abbie, I hope, fingers crossed. I can't wait to hear the reviews after that. And it looks like Lindy Greenwood, Zach Appleman, Jessica Camacho, and Nikki Reed will be doing the Q&A after the screening. The screening is at 7 p.m. on the main stage, so you'll want to get in line because those are really fun to go to. You know, I went to the New York one and it was a blast, so definitely go if you can. And they do let you ask questions, so have some really good questions, please, and you know, anyway, just have some really good, thoughtful questions. That would be awesome. Okay, so first things first, we trended on Twitter. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Hey, congratulations, Sleepyhead. We were well, it says we were number one. We had something like 14,000 tweets or something for hashtag Sleepy Hollow. So congrats.
We're still trending, by the way.
Yeah, we're still.
Hey.
We're
still trending number one in the United States.
Yeah, we're right under NAACP Image Awards.
Nice. Well, let's keep it up. I mean, the key is to just everybody just dropped. I know everybody was phones. They'll keep dropping and but anyway. Okay, so yeah, so congratulations, guys. Keep it up, and I'm hoping we can like keep it trending at least through the West Coast airing. I think that would be great. And if any of you can stay up and Twitter with us, I'm going to be live Twittering on that as well.
I'm going to live tube with them and with the West Coast as well. So.
Say that again?
I'm going to trim with the West Coast also. This was so much fun. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, we need I mean, all hands on deck as far as I'm concerned. I think it's great, you know, we just need to keep, and if we can, the key is that we really just need to keep doing it every single week. If we could just stay on top every single week, I think that will be a huge, huge thing, especially because we're not sure about a season 4, so, anyway, all right, so I wanted to just mention just a couple of comments that I got on Twitter. I collected as we were as we were going along. Oh yeah, well, Keely MacDonald, you know, she's one of the writing assistants. She tweeted out, "Crane talking like a Jane Austen novel is everything." I just thought that was hilarious. Lori Harrell at Canon Mum said, "Oh my word, I loved it." Famster Barb, she says, "We trended the hell out of it. Hashtag Sleepy Hollow." Yeah, Patrick Smith. Everybody's just really excited that we trended, but there was a couple of others. Hold on a minute. Hold on. There was a couple of other good ones that I was gonna. See, this is what happens when you're doing 20 million things at the same time. You can't put it on your paper. Oh yeah, Kim AC at F01RST Instinct, First Instinct, I guess, says hashtag Crane and Lieutenant equals true dream team. Oh, Donna at Donna Reed 2 says, "Damn, Crane's hair really works it, like a character all its own." I died laughing on that one. Oh my gosh. And so, yeah, I mean, basically everybody loved the episode. They were very excited, and I am, you know, I'm like derelict in my duties. I will have winners for the Sleepy trivia, but I have so much other stuff going on. I need to tally the votes. But I'll announce them on Twitter shortly after Hollow Hangout. So thanks to everybody that played. It was fun, as always. And Deb, tell people, is she still on? I don't even know if she's on. No,
Says she is.
She disappeared again. Anyway, Deb has she's got 3 prizes she's sending out, so there'll be 3 winners. And one of them is really cool. It's a Don't Lose Your Head t-shirt, which is awesome. It's really cool. Anyway, so let's get down to business. Let's talk about One Life. So let's go down the line, see what did everybody think. Linda, why don't we start with you? What did you think of it?
I loved One Life. That is how you come back from a winter hiatus. You come back kicking tail, you kick butt, you take names. So I enjoyed it. I loved Reckless Crane. That was like the best. I mean, and I like that they did the flashbacks and they showed that everything he was telling people, you know, don't be reckless, don't do this here. And he was not taking his own advice. I mean, he's on a motorcycle, he's stealing stuff. He was cooking lonely lasagna. I mean, I loved it all. So, and I'm glad that they allayed the fans' fears by showing Abbie. I mean, showing, you know, her miss, showing her in the mirror, because the fandom would have went bananas if we didn't see Abbie Mills tonight. I mean, you just do not do a Sleepy Hollow and you don't show Abbie. So I am so glad. I mean, over the hiatus, they kind of teased us, is she really dead? You know, we don't know. We'll see her. Some knucklehead even had written about us seeing her in a coffin. I'm like, yeah, I knew that wasn't going to happen. I was one of those who was trying to get clicks on the website. but I am so glad that they showed her, and that's what was important, that they showed her and that they are finally showing the fans how Crane really feels about her. I mean, you don't go acting bananas over a random person. You don't do that. So I was happy. So tonight was a really great episode. I loved it. I love when Albert Kim writes, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, he's written, I think every single episode he's written that I've actually loved. Yay, Yasha's here. Hi.
Hey.
Welcome back, girl.
Sorry, I'm also eating dinner.
Okay. Well,
That's okay.
Deb, why don't you tell us what you thought about the episode?
I don't think she's here.
She's here. I see her.
her.
Yeah.
Back in.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. It wasn't the episode I wanted, and I had a hard time adjusting to it. And I think towards the end, when Sophie and Crane seemed to be having this really kind of intimate connection, I got upset.
Really?
I'm sorry, I just got upset. And as much as I wanted it to work for me, there's just too many freaking women in this show now. That's all.
I will agree with
you.
you.
I'm sorry, there's too many women, and Danny doesn't have a goddamn thing to do. All right? Yeah.
Too many women.
Well,
it was a great episode. It was a great episode. It wasn't the one I wanted tonight.
Well, what were you hoping for? Why don't you tell us that? What were you thinking? What would you like?
I wanted to see Jenny and Joe and Crane react. I wanted to know how they felt in this last month. And it's not really there. Little hints of it. I felt that was really important. That we feel that and we go through that with them. So this jumping into an adventure was next week's episode. I don't feel it was this week's episode. For me, anyway. It was a good episode. It just wasn't what I wanted.
You just wanted
sorry,
more.
Albert. I love you, Albert, but I'm just sorry.
Well, you just wanted more emotional. You wanted the emotional, but
I wanted more character development. I didn't want another character added. I wanted the characters that are there more, to get more into their feelings, to what drives them to really be a part of this team. So what I'm feeling right now is more not knowing about who they are than knowing about who they are. I really didn't want Joe and Jenny to hook up in this episode. Not this episode. They could hook up 3 episodes down the line. Not this episode. There. That's it. I'm finished.
I'm watching with the West Coast, so what's going on?
We're here where, everybody thinks differently. It's fine. Well, no, and I do agree with you. I mean, there needs to be some, and I do think we need to see more about Danny. I mean, Danny was obviously, I couldn't tell if he was, he was definitely freaking out. He's like, where did she go and everything, and he was a little like, what is his purpose on, I don't understand, like,
I don't know.
Get in at this point. I mean, he's the FBI in charge of and how are they going to explain, what I don't get is how are they going to explain Abbie's absence this whole time and then comes back and...
They're going to hand wave it.
They're going to what?
They're going to hand wave it. I've seen this too many times on other shows. They'll just be like, oh, she was on vacation or something.
Call it a kidnapping or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they'll probably do that. Well, we'll see. Well, Darla, what were your thoughts on the episode?
I'll try and be nice. I really liked the episode. They were the Joe and Jenny hookup really irritated me, and it was kind of apocryphal actually because of those comments that were made yesterday. But so I'm not gonna get into that. I'm just gonna say I really don't think, I knew they were gonna hook up. I didn't think they should have hooked up today. But as far as the episode itself, I really enjoyed it. I loved Crane being reckless and showing his emotion on his sleeve, and I really think that he's in love with Abbie. I mean, that's how it came across to me. Because you wouldn't go out of your way and do all that for your best friend.
Right.
I really think he's in love.
Well, true. And then, I mean, what did you think? I mean, what did you think of the mirror thing? Was creepy, man. The whole. I was like, oh my God, is she trying to like reach him? And then, you know, anyway, I thought it was gonna be her actually at the end there.
I like the way they use mirrors in Sleepy Hollow as portals to the other world. I mean, it's a common device, but they do it well.
Yeah.
I missed what you asked.
I said, what did you think of the whole mirror thing and
I really liked that. I liked the special effects in the episode today. It was really great, and Crane laying on the mirror.
Oh my God!
Oh, my heart.
He's just like, come back.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
And yeah. I really loved it. And him riding the motorcycle, that was awesome.
I know, I love.
Where he got the motorcycle money, I don't know. Maybe he stole the bike.
Well,
he stole it like Abbie did.
Bike from them, from whoever he stole the artifact from.
That was funny. It was a nice little callback. I appreciated it.
Yeah, totally.
Franklin's light from Franklin's lantern. Remember the group of militant apocalyptic people. That's who I think they were stealing it from.
Oh.
Remember that episode?
Wait, say that
lifting her up to get
the vessel.
You remember that dialogue?
Yeah, from season 1.
Wait, what was that? Sorry, I missed the whole thing. What did you say?
You know the episode with Franklin's lantern that they needed the light in order to save Macy?
Was that the one where
the militant people? That
was where Irving and Jenny went and got it.
Yep, I remember that. It was probably them. Who knows? Totally. Well, Michelle,
one for continuity.
Yay!
Yay!
Finally.
Continuity.
It had to happen one time.
I appreciate it whenever I see it.
I mean, it was bound to happen.
Right. Well, Michelle, what did you think about the episode?
First of all, I like that they used the classic Sleepy Hollow bridge in the beginning.
Yes.
I didn't know if anybody noticed that. I love that scene. And I think I know where they shot that scene at because I have family in Atlanta. So.
Oh, really?
Hey,
I think I've been on the bridge before.
I love that it was fall because I love the fall colors. It was beautiful. It was a great.
Yeah, I like Ichabod's determination to find Abbie. I like Sophie, you know, and I wasn't really feeling Jenny and Joe's B storyline this week. I liked it, but it could have been better. But other than that, it was a pretty good episode, you know. It's just, and I like seeing Abbie at the end, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting notices from Alicia. Nicole is on.
She's at the awards?
She's chatting. If you guys turn chat on your computer.
Oh, Nicole is on? What do you mean Nicole is on?
You can see Nicole is on.
Well, it's her category.
Did she win?
Did she win?
They're still going through the nominees.
Okay. Just gotta pause a minute because I gotta find out if she's gonna win.
Let's just wait.
Sorry, everybody.
Nicole's not there.
Oh, she's not there?
No.
She's not there.
I didn't think she was there.
She was there last year and the year before.
She wasn't on the list either this year.
Well, she said she had it. She put it in.
Darla posted that.
Taraji won.
Ah, bummer. a
Nicole?
Oh my goodness.
Here.
Oh, bummer. Okay, so, well,
It's
Empire again. All right. I'm not even mentioning that. Anyway, okay, so Alicia, what did you think of the episode?
I really liked it. I didn't like the first scene with Betsy showing up randomly. I think she just shows up at random.
I was waiting for somebody to say that.
Like it was just random, and she just kept showing up at random throughout the episode.
Yeah.
But I had a huge smile on my face because you guys all know my theories about Sophie, and like the Crane and Sophie interaction was like totally backing that up. So
Okay, so wait a minute. So you're talking about what that which that Sophie is
Sophie is Crane's
daughter?
Crane and Abby's daughter.
What? Is that like a landline phone?
Yes.
Yeah, Sophie's phone done.
Linda's having technical difficulties down in Houston.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so why don't you? Okay, so why do you think that your theory is less than based on this episode?
Well, it's just weird that she didn't contact Jenny, but she contacted Sophie and Crane and left them both the same messages.
Well, wait a minute. It wasn't Abbie though. It wasn't Abbie. It was the
Well,
monster.
yeah, well the monster and they just had like a connection to each other.
No, the reason that the reason that this entity contacted both Ichabod and Sophie was because they were both in the cave at the time that he did that spell with the artifact juggy thing. So they thought that whatever this entity thought that they were together trying to get a hold of Abbie. That's why. But you don't think that's why?
Nope.
Alright.
No,
I agree with Alicia on her theory. I think that's
I like that theory.
I think that's Ichabod's daughter. I agree with Alicia. So
I
That would
agree.
be-
I agree.
that would be
I mean,
hilarious.
that would have been a nice cool twist. I agree.
I agree. So,
Interesting.
Well,
and then I didn't like that they had to keep bringing the girl from the ring out of the mirror like so many times.
Super creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nightmares.
Yes. Well, Yasha, what did you think of the episode? What are your thoughts?
Well, okay, so I thought it was a strong episode, but based on what was going on, I don't really get why Abbie had to be not in it because it was too much of a lag. You know, you had Jenny and Joe in that club, and then they were just doing too much. Abbie, we could have seen a little bit of what was going on with Abbie. Now, unless they're doing that next week, I'm going to be pretty pissed. Because, I mean, it just wasn't, I mean, it was good. I liked all the Crane extra emotion. His hair looked good, finally.
Hair looked good.
It was but I just, you know, I'm always going to miss Abbie and whatever's going on. I mean, she didn't need to be, like, not in sight at all. That was just weird.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to build up to this reunion. I mean,
It better be good.
because,
It's gotta be. Otherwise, well, and also, I do love all the emotion. I mean, and I didn't even really want to like Sophie, but I do. So I kind of am mad at myself because I do like her. So I did kind of like Crane kind of being partners a little bit and finding her. The whole bedroom scene was weird. I don't know.
I liked the bedroom. I thought it was like so sad. He's holding up the lingerie. He's got all his hopes in one basket, and he goes running up the stairs, and then it's.
That was weird to me. I hate when they do that on TV and movies where they say hello. It's like you're the first to get killed. I hate hello, is anyone there?
I have a question.
I don't hate that.
How did Pandora know about that lingerie? How did that?
It was probably out of Ichabod's mind.
Yep.
It's probably always on Ichabod's mind. That's my theory. It's on his mind, so anybody who's getting into his head, that's what they're going to see. Abby's lingerie. It's always on his mind.
I love that. That's cool. I like that. I like that.
He did call her his better half.
You know what? He was talking about her like they were really, really together to Sophie. I was like, this is really for real. They were serious. He was serious.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think it's good though because you know she knows what's what, you know, and that's what we need. So, well, Sarah, why don't you tell us what did you think of the episode?
I liked the episode. I kind of was wondering where Abbie was most of it. So I was kind of hoping Abbie would come back sooner, but her at the end, so at least we know where she is.
Yeah.
I like Ichabod's action scenes.
He's so cute. He was cute when he was all desperate. He's just desperate.
Yeah, you could tell that he really cares about her.
Yeah, totally. Well, yeah, and you know, I mean, I'm glad that they showed. I'm just dying to find out, you know, where is she? Do we really think she's in the underworld? I mean, could she be someplace different than the underworld? I mean, that's a possibility.
Wasn't she, if I remember correctly, wasn't she trapped in purgatory before?
Well, yeah, she was trapped in purgatory before, which is, what, midway, I guess. It's the place you go if you have sins.
So it may be the same thing. She's like in a purgatory world. I don't know.
And she's like, where the crap in my ass?
Different realm, that's what she said.
Yeah,
This is
Pandora said she's in a different realm.
Yeah.
It's different.
But she's definitely in a different realm. I mean, you know.
Pandora doesn't know where she is because Pandora said if she had to search to the end of time or something like that, she would search for her. So I think that's a puzzlement even to Pandora and the Hidden One.
Oh, so no one knows where she is. Or do they know?
That way.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't think anybody knows where she is. I mean, they are assuming that she's in the underworld. I mean, the fact of the matter is that the Hidden One, E2 Elu, is supposedly he's the Lord of the Underground, and he is the god of mummification.
Yeah.
He's the god of mummification. So,
Chrissy, did you ever hear about the Planet X? It's called Another Word, starts with an N.
Yeah, I've heard about Planet X. It's bigger than Earth though, but it's sort of like another Earth.
Oh, what? I missed it. She's on Planet X?
What are you guys talking about?
So you think she's on Planet X?
I think she's on planet Vulcan. It looks just like that.
Planet Vulcan.
Oh my gosh. This must be another theory, Alicia. I don't know.
It looks just like it.
Vulcan, but you know. Well, Tina, why don't you tell us how did you feel? What were your thoughts on the episode?
I thought it was really strong. I liked most of it. I will admit that when the first scene came on with Betsy, I tried so hard not to roll my eyes, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't. I could handle it.
Yeah.
It was fine, and then the rest of the episode was really, really good. And then what Deb was saying, the part with Sophie, it was, you know, I could see a lot of people thinking, oh gosh, here's another woman. They're just throwing another woman in front of Crane. But if you see it that way, you can probably read it. I mean, it was kind of, you know, they were, you know, really getting kind of close. But I like Alicia's theory, so I'm like, Crane is totally not into Sophie, so I'm not worried about that. But you know, because I'm on Twitter a lot, I just know that there are certain people that are really like anybody but Abbie. So they're like, oh yes, I've already saw a couple of the tweets. Oh, I'm digging Sophie and Crane, and I'm just like, oh gosh, let's don't make me throw my laptop.
Well, you know,
but it was a good episode. I will just have to put that out of my mind and have some faith in the writers that they're not going to act stupid like they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we did Katrina. I think they learned. You know, we've had enough.
Well, And you know what I mean? I guess I can. Though I think it's very interesting that that Sophie's parents were archaeologists. My question is, and they went and they were archaeologists and they disappeared while doing a dig in the Mayan ruins. So I think that is a key thing. I think that has to play into all of this at some point.
What? I don't remember, 1908 or something?
Somebody talk. Anyway, I mean, I just think that that's not a mistake, having that.
No, maybe they're part of the war.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they know about it.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. And I mean, they disappeared, and she doesn't know where they are. Well, what if her parents are in the same place that Abbie is? I mean, that could be very interesting.
Well, they better tell us something, or just stop dropping these just random facts out there. That's what I really hate. It's just, oh, okay, my parents this, and then nothing. What was the point of even?
Well, I know. I mean, I'm hoping we'll get more answers as it goes on here. Well, Jean, what do you?
Hold on. So they think that Abbie and her parents are in the same place?
Well, I'm thinking that because I mean, I just think it's interesting that they. She happened to mention they were archaeologists that disappeared during a dig in the Mayan ruins, and I think that's, very.
So maybe they're in like some Mayan afterlife or something?
Well, I don't know, but you got to remember that the tablet is Sumerian, right? The tablet that Ichabod has is Sumerian. They the god that is here, the hidden one, Itu Ilu, is an Egyptian god. And then, there was another thing I was thinking about earlier. Remember in Necromancer, I don't know what you want to call it, the script or whatever that Andy had that allowed him to be Necromancer to the Headless Horseman was actually Egyptian as well. So I think that there's a lot of different backgrounds involved in all of this. I mean, what are your thoughts on all of this? Let's see, we still haven't heard from Jean. What are your thoughts on all of this, Jean?
Well, I mean, I thought it was good. Reckless Crane is awesome. He's kind of just running off the seat of his pants, and it's kind of seeing him in that desperation over Abbie. I think it's gonna play more into the whole Abbie, and will they, when he finds her, become a thing? Because maybe he's realizing just how much he loves her, really. I mean, it's kind of.
Well, and two, I'm just wondering, the thing is, we don't know about Abbie's feelings. I mean, the fact of the matter is that Ichabod, he wears his heart on his sleeve. I mean, you always know what he's thinking pretty much. You always know, he's the one that's not really afraid to show his feelings. And so, will that matter? I guess that's the question. Is that going to be, I mean, it'll matter to him, but I mean, is that going to make a difference where Abbie is concerned? Because she doesn't want to talk about anything.
Yeah, I think that the writers, they really need to tell us more about, what's going on in Abbie's mind. I mean, I think a lot of people, that's the number one thing we want to know. We see Nicole is awesome with her facial expressions, with her eyes, and with her mouth, but we don't know because she's not going to say it. So unless they let us get into her head, we don't really know what she's thinking. We don't know what it was like for her when he, walked out of purgatory with Katrina and she was left there, and she keeps doing these things for him, this time more for Jenny, but really all of them, and he left for 9 months. We don't know how she felt about it. She just seems to let him get away with stuff. Why would she just let him that's just, it seems to be a characteristic that she has. He can do some crazy stuff, rewrite a map, leave her in purgatory, you know, just
Right.
running around with Katrina, and she just like kind of always takes him back, kind of thing, you know.
Right.
So what is going on?
I know. Well, that's why I think it's important that we kind of see what she's going through over there, wherever she is, if she's in the underworld or wherever she is, because, you know, that's going to, I think, I mean, maybe she doesn't think they'll find her. I mean, I don't know, but I am really praying and hoping that we see that next week, you know? I mean, Deb, where do you stand on this?
Can I say something?
Yep, go ahead.
I think that Nikki's her character has fallen into this position of being the nagging mom or the nagging lover or whatever, you know, like picking you up at jail, making you clean your room, picking you off your Xbox, telling you not to eat junk food, calling you off to the dentist. She's always the caretaker, and it makes for a boring character after a while. You know what I'm saying? There's so much dynamic to this actress and so much more that she could be, that I think that what happens is that color commentary that Zach and Lindy and even to a certain extent for some people Nikki Reed, that's sort of like they're gravitating to those things because the central characters are not getting developed well enough. And that's my major problem with the whole show. You know, Nikki Bahari is this phenomenal actress, and we don't get to see enough of her talent.
Oh, I agree. And, you know, I know in the Lindy interview, she, you know, talked about how you have to stretch the story out or whatever, is saying that why no Ichabod. But in general, if you've got good writers, they can develop the character and still stretch the story out. You know, and character development doesn't happen in one episode. So on that, I blame the writers. Do they not feel confident that they can give us insight on Abbie and still develop her later and throughout every episode? It's like you got to hold back on letting everybody know how Abbie feels, because once we know, you know, what else is there? Keep developing her. You're the writers. Be creative. You know, I know they've got it in them because season 1 was phenomenal. They can do it.
Yeah, I felt that way about Lindy's interview, and I've met Lindy Greenwood, and she's a lovely woman. And I think she does a really great job with the character of Jenny. But when she said that about stretching the story or however it was, you know what, it made me sour for the rest of the day. And I think all day today I just felt like there are so many examples in literature and TV of being able to build, you know, have married couples or have committed couples have exciting stories. I'm like, what does that say about marriage? You know, I've been married for 35 years. You know, I think I've had some exciting stories in there.
Exactly. You know, and when they say that the relationship ruins the show, I say the writers ruin it, because the writers aren't good enough to write a good story.
Yeah.
And the story, that's point blank, that's all it is. If you can write a good story, it doesn't matter if the characters are married. It should be better, because there's so much more you can do with it once they're married. And we don't get a lot of that.
You know, I think a lot of it was, especially last season, they were pigeonholed. I mean, they had to get Crane out of this marriage.
Yeah.
They had to do that. And so, but everybody forgets is, I think the reason that the show kind of lost its sight of itself last season is because it simply had a different showrunner. I mean, I was talking about this with some of my X-File friends, and one of the main things about X-Files is Chris Carter has been with the show since day one. It's his deal. It's his. He you know, yes, he brought on different writers and this and that, but ultimately it's his show. It's his story. It's his characters. And it's fun to see, like, where the characters began and where they are now. I mean, you know, just the character development within Mulder and Scully. And I think that's what it's the inconsistency of having, you know, a showrunner from the beginning, you know, kind of running with it. And I do think that they need to develop. There needs to be more character development. But I think that this season they realize that they have to have like one set story, and you know, I'm hoping the next 9 episodes we're gonna see a lot more backstory on things. I mean, like I said, Danny is sort of MIA. I don't quite understand. I mean, we were all saying it kind of didn't make sense that he came on as her boss. Why not her partner? Because it was, you know, there was that whole thing that was going on. But now, where does, I mean, he obviously, he knows that, I think he knows anyway, that, I think he knows that Abbie is sort of, quote, pursuing or has feelings for Crane just based on the comment that he made in Art of War with, you know, you always did like a challenge, and, you know, she's like, oh, well, you know, I always kept you on your toes at Quantico. So, I mean, he knows that, and so if that's the case, then I just don't understand it. Sort of like Lance Gross is such a great actor, and I feel like they're sort of wasting him. I don't quite understand where he's fitting in. It's perplexing to me. There's that, and you know, and I think too, they're just being really careful. I don't know what's going on with the publicity and all of that. I've just decided not to worry about that anymore, because otherwise you just get so upset that you just, you know, can't even function, you know. I mean, obviously, Deb, I totally understand what you're saying, but I just think, you know, we just have to, like, get on the ride and just go with it. That's sort of where I'm at this point.
Well, you know what? I used to watch Charmed back in the day, and Charmed was on for many years. I love that show. It was a supernatural show.
Yep.
And Piper was one of the Charmed sisters, and Leo, her husband, they were both top billed. I mean, they were both, you know, the stars of the show, and there was no problem with them having a romance. There was no problem with, they would show Piper and Leo having sexy time, Piper and Leo dealing with domestic stuff, but they still were able to get the job done. So I don't know, I get baffled when I see people say, well, if you bring in romance, it's going to kill the show. And I'm like, what kind of romance, what kind of, you know, romance are you in, and what is your personal life is going on? It's kind of toxic, and you're kind of bringing that feeling onto, you know, onto the show. I just don't understand when people say that if you put romance there, it's not going to work. And it's been a slow burn. I mean, the burn has been so slow. It's like molasses in a snowstorm slow. And so I don't, how much more would you slow it down? I mean, the only way you can slow it down anymore is if you did a time jump to 5 years later and they're still where they're at now. I mean, that's just how slow it is. So I'm like, bring it on already. And I just don't think it would kill the show. I think it would help the ratings. I think people from, you know, who were in season 1 would come back if you would just make them a couple. And I think that this episode here, that Albert Kim was trying to show that Crane loves Abbie. We're not going to officially say it, but we're going to show you by him, you know, stealing stuff, driving this, you know, motorcycle recklessly. We're going to show you that he loves Abbie. I just hope that we don't have that angsty stuff where Abbie's like, oh, biting her nails, I'm scared to say I love him. I mean, get it done already. And
that would be good. That would be okay, though. I will take that. I will take that.
Exactly. And I think that photo from next week that everyone's trying to find out, is she, you know, kneeling? Is she going upstairs? I'm thinking that the look on Crane's face in that particular photo, he looks like he's got that, I'm going to pick you up and you're going to wrap your legs around my waist and we're going to kiss look on his face. I hope that's what we get, but that's how I interpret it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just a dirty girl. I don't know.
That was really dirty.
I would like that.
That was super dirty.
Did you all notice that Crane and Sophie and Joe and Jenny like were split up into teams and they weren't telling each other what happened, like what they found.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Oh, very good observation. Yeah, there's still this secrecy. I was thinking about this today. That one of the flaws they all have in this whole team is they keep things secret that they don't think either the other team members can handle. They don't give the other team members the benefit of the doubt. And when you think about it, that's a real negative thing to have in a team if you want the team to work well. So yeah, I think that that's interesting, that whole secrecy thing, that they couldn't be honest. In spite of this tragedy that just happened, they still hold on to what's familiar to them.
I agree. They're in the predicament they're in now because Joe and Jenny kept secret that they were meeting with Nevins and all of that stuff. You know, yeah.
Well, the reason that they were keeping that quiet was because because Abbie had asked them not to contact Nevin. So that whole thing, yeah, she was doing it on the sly because she didn't want to get in trouble with her sister. She knew that Abbie would be pissed. And so that's why that happened. But I agree, like, on tonight's episode, yeah, I thought it was weird that, neither one of them talked about what was going on with each other, as far as, like, and Jenny and Joe, I mean, they were tracking down the artifact, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that is used. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you on the whole communication thing. But that's been the problem from the get-go with there's been communication issues, I think, all along, just from everybody. And so, go ahead.
What do people think about the twistery? Because I love the twisteries, but I was trying to figure out what was the relevancy of Nathan Hale.
Yeah,
one of our country's greatest heroes was kind of reduced to something I thought was a little sniveling. But anyway, I'd like your opinion on that.
Well, I think the Nathan Hale thing was to show just how ruthless Betsy Ross really is, A, and B, the fact that she says, well, sometimes, you can't save your partner, sometimes you can't. And if you remember, that quote from the very first episode of the season, she says, I hope I'm there to see you be impulsive. When some woman's gonna some woman's gonna make you be impulsive, and I'm hoping that I'm there to see it. Well, it's gonna probably come down to him having to save her, and he's not gonna let anything happen to Abbie. He's not gonna let anybody see her or do anything to her.
Chrissy, I would say.
Problem with that? Oh, sorry.
Of all the flashbacks I've ever seen, that flashback did not match the episode.
What
to
do you
me.
mean?
No.
It didn't sit well. It's like all the other flashbacks before, they had something to do with the episode, like finding the defeating a monster or finding a relic. This
is random.
Just random. And the only thing is the guy said one life at the end, but they never said one life in modern day, so it didn't really make sense.
And why do we care how ruthless Betsy could be? I want to see how ruthless Crane could be.
Because Betsy's probably a villain.
Yeah,
I didn't get it.
I didn't get it. But I was just like, are the flashbacks trying to say that Crane should forget about Abbie? Because sometimes you need to. I was like, I don't get it. I don't know. I think that they just needed an episode or a flashback. I'm going to leave it at that.
My take on the twistery is that they showed an old episode with Betsy and how Crane was silent, letting someone that was their partner die because, he was being cautious Crane. And in this episode, they were showing that caution is thrown to the wind, it's chucked to the side, it's gone. And he is doing everything opposite of what he did back in ye olden days because he loves Abbie. That's the only thing I could think of for the purpose of the twistery, was to show that he was disciplined then and now he is totally reckless.
Yeah.
That's possible.
But I
Yeah.
want to see him being ruthless. Show me that Crane.
Which Crane?
Show me him being ruthless like that. I want that Crane.
Well, you know, I know. I think that he can be ruthless depending on what the situation is. I think if anyone was going to hurt either Abbie, Jenny, or Joe, I think he'd be really ruthless, you know? So, just, you know, I think we'll see how things progress here. Well, what do you guys think of Jenny's guilt? I mean, I felt so bad for her. She was, you know, she was like, how do you know? I feel like she knows that she's like it's her fault that Abbie disappeared, and I think she is having a hard time dealing with it. What do you think about that, Michelle? Why don't you start?
Well, her feeling guilty, you know, I can understand that, but and her wanting to get Jenny back, it's totally understandable. But she seemed more concerned about Joe than she did her sister in that episode.
Yeah, you think so?
That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think it was just the fact that I don't think she wasn't.
Yeah,
for her
I get what you're saying. Yeah, but
I see what you're saying. I mean, I think that she obviously, I guess loves him, but she just was afraid that she's gonna lose somebody else in her life. I mean, she is concerned about her sister.
I want to say that I thought that one part was like a little bit weird, like kind of like with the part where he was at the board and he was like trying to come up with all kinds of ideas, and Joe and Jenny were looking at each other and they were just looking at each other like, oh, okay, great. But then he says, oh, I have to find her. Then Jenny got upset. It's like, you don't have to find her. He's like, I'm thinking, well, how? You're standing there just looking at him like crazy, let him know then, don't wait until after he says, I'm trying to find her, then you're going to get bent out of shape that he thinks that you're not. Well, he's doing everything, you know what I mean? I just thought it was weird timing, maybe, of when they let her get upset about it. I don't know. I thought it was weird. I might be a little sour on Lindsay right now.
I couldn't hear you very well. I don't know what's going on with your mic.
Oh, I don't know. I might be having technical problems.
And does somebody
Yeah,
have...
there's a lot of background noise.
See if I can...
Yeah, someone had background noise on. Anyway, so, I mean, ultimately, overall, what do you guys think overall going into the next episode? What is it that you guys feel like you want to see next episode? What is your main thing, I guess? Deb, why don't you start on that?
I'm not going to have any expectations. I've just decided to chuck it all.
Chuck it all out.
Yeah, I've spent too much time in the last 2 days feeling really anxious as stuff was leaking out about tonight's episode, and just trying to figure out the whole business of television and not understanding why we don't see Nikki Bahari, why we don't see Tom promoting. And I guess they might have really valid reasons, but from a person who's sort of committing a lot of time to the show, I feel like there's not a quid pro quo going on. I don't know. I feel that maybe the show means too much to me. So I'm going to be thinking about that this week. About if it's really worth getting so caught up in something. I came to the show because of the history, because of the legend of Sleepy Hollow, and my work with the old church in Sleepy Hollow, and that was fun. I don't know if I'll ever get back to the feeling I had in season 1. I keep looking for it, and it's just not happening. That doesn't mean the show is bad and the writing is bad. It just means that for me, it might not be the show that I want it to be, and so I might just decide to just end my relationship. Sorry, guys, but it's not. I can't go out there and kvetch on Twitter about my relationship with Sleepy Hollow because several million people that watch it. So, but here we are. That's my feeling.
I'm anxious to see what this quote. I mean, I thought it was hilarious that the tablet says the Legend of Sleepy Hollow on it. I mean, what does that mean? It's got to tie into something somehow, some way. I just can't believe it's random that it's in there. And it can't just mean like Ichabod and Abbie. It's got to be something else ingrained in it. So it should be interesting to see, what this tablet is all about. I mean, I'm anxious for that. Well, Linda, what do you think about all this? What's your final?
Well, just like you giggled, Abbie giggled too when she heard the tablet said the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and I kind of want to giggle myself. But I think it really is going to tie in, and we're going to find out soon. And I like how they did that map that showed all these demon creatures that are converging from all over the world on Sleepy Hollow. So it's no coincidence that the witnesses are there. It's no coincidence that Abbie was born there, that Crane was buried there, and we're going to find out more about that. In the next episode, of course, I'm like everyone else. I want to see a bunch of epic feels. I want to see some declaration of love in the next coming episode. I really do. I want to see that, but I also want to see Abbie fighting. I mean, I guess tonight's episode was to show the effect of Abbie's being missing on everyone. Next week, Abbie wakes up, she's like, where the crap am I? And I want to see her problem solving. I want to see her maybe do some hand-to-hand combat, kick some butt while she's wherever she's at or something to try and get herself out of there. That's what I'd like to see in the next episode.
Yeah, me too.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. Well, let's see. Darla's, I can't tell if she's there or not. Darla?
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, what are your thoughts for
next week?
Yeah.
I just want Abbie and Crane back together.
Me too.
Everything else is gravy. Everything else is gravy. I just want them together.
They have to kiss. I'm sorry. Like, this is what my thought is. I'm thinking that, like, he's so excited to see her. He kisses her, but I think it catches her off guard. I mean, the fact of the matter is whether they admit their feelings or whatever, there is so much that they are going to have to work through and develop over, especially if there's a season 4. These things, they just don't happen overnight. I mean, even well,
Jenny and Joe hooked up.
Well, yeah.
We're not invested either. We don't really care.
I'm gonna keep bringing it up because I'm just gonna keep bringing it up because it's apocryphal that she even made those comments.
Yeah.
Agreed. Say that it would be over if Abbie.
And then what happened tonight? What happened tonight?
So was the show over already? Nobody's invested in that though. Nobody's invested. Nobody really cares that much. We just want Ichabod. I mean,
are they writing Joe and Jenny off the show now since there's no more story for them?
That's it. It's done. They're done. There's nothing else to tell.
It's done. There's no story for Joe and Jenny.
Well,
Yeah, right. When Orlando comes back as Frank,
I hope he comes back. I'm telling you, I really miss Orlando.
He was sorely missed the past couple of days. I think that there were some missteps that happened from certain people on the staff that might not have happened if OJ had been there, or at least he'd have been there to be the balance, because we need our balance. There's nobody. I was talking to someone on Twitter about this before. There's nobody that we know of that's on our side, kind of. The other actors are out there, they're promoting their characters and their storylines. The writers are close-lipped about, whether we're going to get what we want or not. So there's really not anybody tweeting with us, nobody that we feel like is on our side that gets where we're coming from. And it can get a little, disheartening when all us fans are trying to cheer each other up. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so, someone might say, oh, this is going to happen, but we don't know. But there's nobody behind the scenes saying, hey guys, come on, hang out, that we trust. Because
Right.
I trust the writers because,
I think, am I right? Or
we're not there yet. We don't trust them yet. I'm still waiting for them to pull the rug from under me, So, they haven't, I mean, I think they're getting there. This episode certainly helped, but, we've had this before. I remember the season 2 opener. We all thought, oh my gosh, and then episode 2 happened. So I still get nervous about getting too excited about the show. But this was a good episode. I want to be excited. I hope it's going to happen. I know a lot of people are out there. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I hope they're right, because if they think that people are excited that we want to see Joni, and there were a few, yay Joni tweets, the Twitter is going to blow freaking up. When it could be, even if they hit, every little hit, it's going to blow up Twitter. Because we're going to lose our minds. When it could be actually happening.
Oh my God.
It's going to be insane.
It's gonna be awesome.
Why don't they want that? I don't, you know what I mean? Who's the mess out of that?
We're going to literally break Twitter if anything happens next week. I mean,
oh gosh, yeah.
It's going to be crazy, and I think we'll definitely trend Sleepy Hollow. I don't doubt that. And
we might be trending a whole lot of stuff.
I know. Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, you have to remember, Joe is a 21st century male. Jenny is a little bit more open about her feelings and things like that. And I just think, and I agree, I mean, I think that we just need to see more about Abbie and what she's thinking and how she's feeling and what she's going through. And my fear is that we're probably not going to get the full scope of what it is that she's gone through for over a month or 6 weeks, whatever it is that she's been missing, until later. I can't imagine that they can move forward, even if they say admit their feelings for each other. They still need to hash out why did he leave for 9 months. I mean, there's so many things for them to do that it's not going to be this, and people have this so funny. People are always like wanting it to be like a fan fiction novel. It's not going to be that way.
Yes, it does mean
So
that.
I mean, I don't need them to be hanging all over each other and all of that. We just need progress. I mean, major progress, and I'm happy. But anyway, we'll see what happens next. So Alicia, what are your thoughts what are your thoughts about the next episode?
Well, I know it's not going to happen, but I would really like to see them dive into Abbie's mind, like the whole episode, just because her biggest fear is being alone, just her alone and then thinking through things.
Yeah.
But
that's a good insight.
But I do have a question. So did it take her a month to wake up?
What?
Need to know.
Yeah, did it take her a month to wake up?
What do you mean?
That's the way it seemed.
The way it ended, it looked like she had just gone through the portal and woke up.
No, I don't think that's. I think that was her right after the blast. I don't think that was a month later. I mean, I think that was right after the blast wakes up and she's on the other side and she doesn't know what happened. Like,
I'm hoping that the next episode we get more of what Abbie's going through. Like this episode was what they were going through, and then we get a glimpse of Abbie. So I hope next episode, okay, we saw her wake up, but what has she been doing for the month? Or is the time the same? Does it feel like a year for her?
Right.
We don't know. So I want them to really get into what she's doing and what's on her mind, and definitely what she, how she feels about what she's going through and being alone, for sure. Right. I mean, it just doesn't even make any sense if they don't give Abbie's perspective.
Exactly. Well, Jean, what do you think about next episode? What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I agree with, I kind of really hope they give Abbie a little bit more screen time in the next episode.
Yeah.
And honestly, the Sophie character, I mean, I like her. I think she's got some pretty good puns, so to speak. And I mean, I like to see what role she might start to play in with the witnesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely they gotta explain a little bit more about where she is. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Maybe it's so vague. It's killing us.
All these suppositions, we have no clue. It's like,
yeah, exactly. It's all just guessing.
You have all these characters who you don't know what happened to their parents.
Yeah.
They're all orphans.
Huh?
Mystery parents, anthropologists, natural supernatural hunters.
Well, Darla, what are your final thoughts about next episode and what you would like to see?
Oh, I thought I already said. Just
Oh, you
Abbie.
did.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Michelle, did we go to you yet? I'm so
I don't know, but all I will say is that I want Abbie back, and probably not this episode, but maybe next episode or the following episode, I want Headless back. I miss Headless. I miss his horn. I like Pandora and her boyfriend, but they're kind of slacking in the villain department in this episode. They're in a cabin somewhere. Headless, as soon as when it came, he would have went after Crane. So.
I want to see Grace Dixon back too.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we love Grace.
See,
Everybody loves Grace.
See, I would rather have Grace in the flashbacks than Betsy Ross.
Yes, that would make so much sense. Yes,
Oh.
that would make perfect sense. It's a perfect tie-in to have Grace in the flashbacks. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we should see her way more. I mean,
I still think she should have been the spy in the flashbacks.
I agree.
Not Betsy Ross.
Yes.
It makes she's already cast on the show. Everybody already likes the character. She wrote the journal for Abbie. You know what I'm saying? It would have just been perfect if, we got like glimpse of her writing the journal telling Abbie, but she was the spy the entire time, not Betsy Ross. But I think Betsy Ross is gonna end up being a villain or something. So that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Betsy just has her eye on the big picture, and she doesn't really care who she has to sacrifice along the way, and I think that was part of, like I said, that's why I think we saw a little bit of that flashback. I'm anxious to see how in the hell does Ichabod and Betsy stop working together, because I think it's
I can't wait for that.
I know.
I can't wait to see how that happens. Like, please, I am dying.
Are you sure we're even going to see that? You think we're going to see that?
No, she's coming to the present. She's coming to the present.
Yeah, she's coming to the present with the magic.
She's got 2 more husbands to go through.
That's true.
She's like after this. John
maybe
Ross
it'll
was
be
her
her
husband. You know that John Ross was Betsy Ross's husband. He died like eight months after they were married or something.
Well, let's see it.
He got married again like a couple years later.
She was married, well,
she was married 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yes, she's married 3 times.
She was married 3 times, and all 3 husbands died, I think.
Yeah, but she had a longer life with the last husband, but the first 2 husbands were during the Revolution, and she has like 6 months maybe where she's unmarried between husband 2 and 3.
Yep.
Which doesn't, and this is the whole timeline problem. It doesn't fit Crane's timeline if he was married to Katrina in 1775, because the only time she's free is in 1776.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my problem tonight.
Yeah. And luckily after the first husband died, they were really, really young. So I don't know. I just assumed it was between number 1 and number 2 because of the timeline for Ichabod being really young. It was after he left the king's church or the king's army and went to the colonial side, which is after he met Katrina, but before they were together. So it's a mess. But I just kind of thought it was between the first two.
No, it's not. It's. I think I
between the
read this
second
whole
two,
thing
the
out
second and third.
last week. She's 75.
You're talking about her
She was
husband?
75 to John Ross, and she was 19 years old. And he lived. I don't even know if they saw a whole year because he was blown up in a munitions accident. And then you might be right. There's a few. It might be between 1 and 2. It's between 1 and 2. There's a few months there where she's not married, and it could fit in the timeline. And she was hanging out in the circle of society that was close to Washington, so she could have been a spy. But then she was married again, so to another guy who was in the military. He ended up getting imprisoned by the British, and I think he died in a prison barge or something like that, or in a prison in England. And then she met her final husband, and I think she ended up in Philadelphia. So there's a short period, there's a short window of time, And the thing that really bothers me is that I think that when they do the twisteries, there's certain, it's kind of like not X-Files. What is it, this show that has fixed points of time? The Doctor Who. There's fixed points of time you don't mess with. When you're doing a twistery about real history, I think you have to respect the fixed points of time. And then play with that in there. And the thing about the Sleepy Hollow fan base is I think we're all a lot of smart hicks, but I think we're all pretty smart, and we can read history, and we Google stuff all the time, and it didn't take, it took like 5 seconds for the fandom to go, wait a minute, this doesn't fit the timeline,
Right.
I kind of I want them to just stick to the timeline that they're creating first. Let's not get too ambitious. They're not there yet, so we'll let them do that, and then figure out the history.
Well, the other thing too, you guys have to remember, he can still be partners with him, with Betsy, and be married to Katrina.
Yeah.
This flashback was from 1776, which means he would have been married to Katrina. Yeah. There's no hanky-panky going on, between them in these flashbacks. So, I don't think that just because they're partners working together doesn't necessarily mean they're, quote, together earlier on. Yeah, I think the first flashback we saw was from 1774, and that would make sense. Maybe it was before, he got together.
He was 16 years old, or 17 years old. And 17... I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna have to let it go because
everything go.
Chrissy.
We just all have to sort of with a grain of salt, just take it all, take it all with
Chrissy.
a grain of salt.
Yeah. Did you know that Betsy Ross is attacked by the Hessians?
Yeah. Did I know what?
That Betsy Ross is attacked by the Hessians.
Was attacked by the Hessians. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was.
And so what happened with that? I didn't hear that.
They don't know, but she was one of the few people that survived the Hessian attack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Well, interesting. They should show something like that. That would be fun to do a twistery on that.
Yep.
They could have did that to show how they met each other.
Their homes.
What, Deb?
Well, the Hessians, the Hessians were the fighters. There was a contract between the British Crown and whoever their masters were in Prussia or whatever. The Hessians weren't making the money on this. They were just soldiers.
Right.
So they were mercenaries. They weren't getting paid. Their prince was getting paid. So the way that they survived was to loot the homes of loyalists, the patriots. So they would, and I told you that's the whole story of the Headless Horseman. One of the basis for the story of the Headless Horseman is when the Van Tassel family home was attacked by the Hessians. And a child, they burned a house down they burned the Van Tassel house down, and Elizabeth Van Tassel thought her child was in the house. She later found her child with the Hessians. They had saved the child, even though they're the ones who started the fire. And a few days after that, the Van Tassel family found a beheaded Hessian soldier on the road, and they brought that soldier to the Old Dutch Church. It was called the Dutch Reformed Church at the time.
Wow.
Had it buried, to ask buried this Hessian. But the family pleaded that because this guy could have been the guy that saved their child, could he be buried in the Old Dutch Church ground? And they acquiesced. They buried him under the condition that there was no headstone or memorial. And that is the historical kernel of what the legend of Sleepy Hollow came out of.
That's cool. I love it. I love it.
You know, you should be one of the historians that the writers contact. A fabulous twistery. I mean, oh my God, they could come up with, you know, something even cooler than that. You know,
a lot of their historical flashbacks, especially the earlier ones, were so well constructed. Their twisteries, because there was always a kernel of truth in them. That's what makes them so much fun. You know, because you go, whoa. Like, I can tell you, in 1781, George Washington was in what is now Sleepy Hollow. We have it. We have it in his diary. He stopped by the Old Dutch Church. His soldiers stayed in the graveyard to rest while they were marching south to Manhattan to fight the Battle of Manhattan, which they lost. So yes, it's very, and 1781 is the year that Crane, it's November 1781 when Crane is, you know, catapulted into the 21st century. All of that makes so much sense. You can picture it, you know, and then you go, then you come, each season goes by, and that I don't know, that ability to create these really tight twisteries that are tied into something historical. I think they've lost it. Although today was it Joe Webb that tweeted out a picture, I think, of his child, which was really beautiful. And it was sitting on top of two books. There was the sketchbook of Jeffrey Crayon, which is Washington Irving's book that has the legend of Sleepy Hollow and has the Rip Van Winkle legend in it. And that was sitting on top of McCullough's 1776. So, you know, these guys are doing their research. Of course they're doing their research. And but there's also a lot, and I live and breathe for the Old Dutch Church. So, you know, this is our hobby. I mean, this is something that we know a lot about.
Well, we eat, sleep, and breathe it, that is for sure. Before I eat, I can't sleep it. I can't sleep, and I breathe it, I guess is another way of saying it. Well, I think that pretty much, gosh, we've gone like quite a long time. I just want to mention a couple of things. We were talking about maybe a bunch of us meeting at the Dragon Con in Atlanta this year, if Sleepy Hollow is going to be there. So keep that in mind. We'll talk about it as, you know, things develop over the summer. Also, is it next week already? No, the 15th of February, I'm launching the fundraiser for the Calvin Center of Horses and Warriors. It's launching on George Washington's birthday for 3 days. I'm getting a whole bunch of really great autographed photos from people like, you know, I've got Patrick Gorman, Neil Jackson, he said he's going to send something, Orlando. I'm working on Nikki, I'm working on Lindy and Tom. Zach did send something. I got this really cool backpack today from Peter Mensa. It says Spartacus on it, and he signed it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice of him.
Cool.
I'm really excited that he sent that. But I'm working. I have like a whole list of people that I'm getting stuff from. So they'll all be put on eBay for 3 days, and hopefully we'll raise money. I mean, 100% of the proceeds are going to go to the charity, except for the shipping costs and whatever that's going to be. I don't know, but so hopefully you guys will. I think you guys will like some of the stuff I've got. So I'm very excited. And next week, well, Deb,
That's Dodger.
Oh, Dodger, my boyfriend.
Dodger. Hi, Dodger. Dodger boy. That's the boyfriend there. Yeah, hi.
My boyfriend is He's so cute. Jeb, why don't you?
Next Friday, Jamie Broad, I have to say this right, Jamie Broadnax and Monique Jones from Black Girl Nerds is going to be joining us to talk about Black Girl Nerds and their publications and to tweet. They're going to be watching the show. They'll put their 2 cents in on the show, and it should be fun.
Yes, I'm very excited.
If you guys don't follow them, you should.
Is that next week?
Yeah,
next week. Yeah.
Yes, and and I wanted to say happy anniversary. They just had an anniversary, actually, Black Girl
This
Nerd.
is their anniversary, their first anniversary, and she has, in a year, garnered over 56,000 followers.
It's amazing.
She has a great brand, and she does a great job. So maybe she'll talk a little bit about how all that came to be. They follow Sleepy Hollow. They're Black Girl Nerds, you know.
Yeah, they follow all the big shows and.
But they do a lot of good stuff with current events, and they're right now. I think they're tweeting the NAACP awards right now on the Twitter. I was just over there, so.
Very cool. Well, awesome. So I guess that's it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We had a great time again. We just finished watching One Life, and I think that I think we're in for a good 3B. I honestly am not worried about there not being an Ichabod. I do think we're gonna get a lot more about Abbie coming up, and I just think, you know, we just gotta hang in there a little longer, hopefully, fingers crossed. So, anyway, well, thanks, and I guess we'll see you guys next week. Yay!
Okay, thanks everybody.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.